Hey, what's up, my people? John Middlekauff, new YouTube channel. What I need you to do, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, share with your friends. Appreciate everyone that has. It's the podcast, 3 and Out. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify. We got you covered. Also, thevolume.com, thevolume.com. We got merch right here. Flex Fit hat. Go to thevolume.com. Get yourself a 3 and Out hat. I went for a walk on Tuesday afternoon. And I'm trying to, I need to lose about 15 pounds. Kind of got fat. Diet's gone to shit, but we're on the straight and narrow. Trying to do double days. Work out, walk in the afternoons. And I usually, throw on the AirPods and listen to a podcast. And right before I left, I was at my computer and I saw on social media that Maxx Crosby had Davante Adams on. And I've listened to a couple Maxx podcasts on YouTube. When he had Latu on, he had Gardner Minshew. It was like, kind of entertaining. So I threw it on. I'm a Fresno State guy. I followed Davante's career very, very closely. The guy he talks about in the podcast, Keith Williams, is one of his close mentors. I think he considers a guy like a family. I love Keith. I consider him like family too. He's a stud. And right when I got hired with the Eagles, they were recruiting Davante, so we never crossed paths. But yeah, I followed his career very, very closely, and I'm just a massive, massive Davante Adams fan, not just as the player, but what he stands for as a guy. And so I was like, this is going to be a pretty good podcast. And a couple things really jumped out to me as I'm walking around the neighborhood, sweating my what off. First and foremost is he discussed, and I think this shows you, when you draft a quarterback, 1 or 2, like if Caleb becomes a star, if Jaden Daniels becomes a star, if Drake May becomes a star, there's a little element of luck in that because you never know as an organization. But like those weren't lucky picks. When you invest a high pick in a quarterback, you're expecting that guy to be good. Maybe not Patrick Mahomes or maybe not Joe Montana or Tom Brady, but just to be a guy that you're giving a second contract to and can be your quarterback for, we say 10 years, but with a quarterback, 15 years. Be your starter until he can't throw the ball anymore. But there are a ton of quarterbacks in the NFL that were not top 5 picks that make a ton of money. Dak Prescott got drafted, and Cousins got drafted in the middle rounds. Both guys have made hundreds of millions of dollars. Cowboys got lucky with Dak Prescott. If they knew he was going to be as good as he's become, they would have drafted him in the first round. Look at Russell Wilson with Seattle. Changed Pete Carroll's career. Drafted him in the 3rd round. Hell, the Ravens drafted multiple players before they picked Lamar Jackson. They had no clue he was going to be this good. There are some guys, the Chiefs, valued Patrick Mahomes a lot, right? They traded up to get him at pick 10. Same thing with the Bills with Josh Allen, traded up to 7. Even the Chargers, who, like, I'll defend Justin Herbert still to this day, but they got lucky with that pick, even though they got him at 6, because they would have taken Tua if they would have had the 5th pick. Brock Purdy's a good example. The 49ers, the 49ers had any clue? They didn't think the guy was going to make the team. Then early on in training camp, they're like, yeah, this guy's definitely making the team. But you never know if a guy's good until they play. That's the hard part of a quarterback. Like, I can rotate other guys in. Start you on special teams, rotate you 10, 12 plays as a defensive pass rusher, give you some slot reps if you're a wide receiver. If you're a linebacker or a DB, I can put you in some different packages. I can kind of there's no easing you in quarterback. You either start or you don't. And if you're not the starting quarterback and that guy doesn't get hurt, look at Dak Prescott. The reason he became the starter, Tony Romo's back broke, and then Kellen Moore, I think, broke a thumb and got thrusted. No different than Brock Purdy. Why'd Brock Purdy start? Trey Lance shatters his ankle. Jimmy Garoppolo breaks his foot. Like, you need things to kind of break your way. Even if the team likes you, there's a lot different than liking you in August and seeing you win games in November. So when you look at the quarterback situation, no one really knows. No one really knows. Trevor Lawrence and Caleb, we think we know, but then they got to do it. But most of these other guys, who knows? Hold on for your ass. See what works. Hopefully you can coach them up and you do a good job around them. Davante Adams played on the same team with Jordan Love for several years and said, I didn't think he was going to, I asked to get traded because Aaron was gone and I didn't trust playing with Jordan Love. The guy was his teammate. Now, it's unique because in football, Davante Adams would not be taking reps with Jordan Love. Like, you don't mix in the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers during the fall gets all the reps with Davante Adams. So he wouldn't throw to him beside the one scenario, I think the Chiefs game, when Rodgers wasn't allowed to play because of the vid. So, but Davante admitted on the podcast, like, yeah, blew me away. Wish I could bring him over here to the Raiders now. But I didn't know. And if anything, I didn't think. I was much more confident in Derek Carr, a guy that I had played with in college.
At the time when I was there, I hadn't necessarily seen enough to say this is for sure what I should do. But in hindsight, like we talked about, I mean, the kid is a fucking baller, man. I'm so happy for him, and you know, I haven't really had a chance to truly sit down and talk with him. But I want to tell him at some point, like, you know, I definitely don't regret changing, but I'm super proud of what you've done, and you know, if there was a way I could pull you over here and, you know, and drag you with me like that, you know, that would have been cool too, because, you know, obviously we saw what he did at the end of the year, but I don't regret what I did, but at the same time, it's definitely, you look back on it, you like, damn, that boy got a ball. Right,
could he be the next one?
Could he be? I mean, I think he is. I think he's shown that, and he's starting to come into his own. I mean, you can see the way he's talking in front of the media and everything. It's just like a whole different person than what I saw when I was there, and that comes with experience.
So Davante Adams, if he's at practice every day, he's a fucking receiver. Who are they the most dependent on? More than anybody, the quarterback. And he's going, yeah, I don't know. Don't see it. And you could argue Jordan Love, if he maintains this level of play and becomes a 10-year starter for the Packers and a high-end top 7-8 quarterback in the NFL, is one of the craziest stories ever. I mean, it really is. It has some Steve Young vibes where no one saw it coming. Not even the players on his own team. Now, maybe that was different in the late 80s with Steve Young. Maybe some of the players knew it. But it's like, we got Joe Montana. We got Aaron Rodgers. What are we talking about? And then by the end of the season, Jordan Love was playing like he was playing. So I think it's a good, a guy that was there saying, yeah, blew me away. Never believed in a million years this would happen. I literally asked for a trade. Now, originally the year before, I think the Packers had made a contract offer that Davante was pissed off about. Came back that his last season with Green Bay, dominated, and then they offered the real contract. He easily could have stayed there, but he didn't think Jordan Love could play. And I don't blame him, because I don't think anyone thought that. Hell, I don't even think the Packers thought that halfway through last season. When their general manager said during the bye, yeah, these last 10 games are going to determine his future. So you could argue that a guy's second half of a season, might have changed the entire franchise. And it just shows you, until you get reps, like I went to Cal Poly, learn by doing. That's the only way you can get better, is through experience. Now, just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're going to be good at it. Especially in football, you need the talent. But Jordan Love sure got good. And I think he's made Davante claims he doesn't regret it. I do think if he knew that Jordan Love was going to be this good, he probably would have stayed. And he somewhat alluded to that.